If your jab feels slow and your resets feel sluggish, it might be because you're pushing off the wrong part of your foot. Today I'll show you how one habit kills your power and movement and how to fix it. Hey guys, Dr. Alex here, Punch Doctor, CEO of Punching Power, and this is something I've seen in some fighters, especially flat-footed guys or anyone who was taught to pivot instead of push. Today I'll break down the problem, why it happens, the anatomy behind it, how other elite athletes rapidly change direction, and give you a few drills to retrain your movement patterns so your punches are faster and snappier, your resets are quicker for better follow-up and defense, and it'll improve your mobility in the ring. The problem is pushing off the inside of the foot or the big toe joint when initiating certain punches, resets, or moving laterally. This is going to be more prevalent in flat-footed guys. However, even if you're not flat-footed, you might be pushing off the big toe joint as a habit if you've been trained on using the pivot to power your punches. I see this most commonly when executing punches that begin with some sort of lateral movement like a jab or hook, or quickly moving out of range after a jab. If you have flat feet, your foot naturally rolls in or pronates. It might feel normal or natural to push out the big toe or inside of the foot. However, pushing off in this way doesn't utilize the muscles that are actually meant to move you laterally. When you push off the toe joint or inside of the foot, you're using the adductors to extend the hip to generate movement. The adductors aren't fast twitch muscles and are not meant to be used for this kind of movement. The muscles you should be using are the lateral leg muscles, specifically the lateral line kinetic chain. This line starts at the side of the foot, runs up the side of the lower leg to the IT band and into the lateral hip muscles. A fast jab or reset is essentially a quick change in direction like a cut. If you look at other athletes executing quick cutting maneuvers, like a wide receiver juking a cornerback when running a route to create distance, or a basketball player executing a crossover, these guys are loading the side of their foot to change direction, not pushing off their big toe joint. They push off the side of their foot with a quick dip to load their glute and lateral hip muscles for an explosive lateral move. If you want to throw a fast jab, execute a fast reset, or throw a powerful integrated hook, you have to push off the side of your foot, the outside of your foot, not the inside. You need to utilize the same muscles those other athletes use to execute a fast cut, because it's essentially what you're doing. Additionally, if you want to move laterally around your opponent to disengage, you want to use these lateral hip muscles. I'm now going to show you some exercises you can do to get a better feel for these muscles. All right, guys, let's get into the practical portion of the video. Now I'm going to demonstrate what anatomically it looks like when your foot rolls in and pronates, and I'm going to give you some direction on how you can really help train and condition those lateral leg muscles to help you move around laterally, whether you're getting in range, getting out of range, or just moving around your opponent. Now, what you'll see frequently is a collapsed arch, which brings the knee inward. Now, I have pretty big arches, so it's going to be difficult for me to demonstrate this 100% accurately. However, hopefully you get the idea. What you're going to see is this part of the foot collapses, the foot pronates, which means it rolls inward, right? If you have a nice arch there, naturally the lateral side of your foot is going to bite, and it's going to really load elastic muscle energy into the lateral chain, because these muscles are connected from your foot all the way to the hip. It loads those muscles, and then you can rebound much faster. If you're landing and the inside of the foot is the primary contact point, you're missing out on really getting a nice stretch and ability to contract those lateral muscles. They're not going to be loading as well as they possibly could. So you're going to see the arch collapse, and the knee is usually going to come inward, and they're going to push off the inside of their foot. Now when they do that, they are primarily using their adductors to extend the hip to create movement. And like I mentioned, it's missing out on that loading of elastic muscle energy for a faster rebound, right? Now, there's a few things that you can do if you have flat feet to help improve your arch integrity. There's the short foot exercise, there's some other stuff. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about helping people with flat feet. Walking on sand is a good thing to do. If you're interested in learning more about those types of exercises, check out Squat University. The gentleman there is pretty knowledgeable, and I already looked. He has plenty of videos about how to help flat feet. However, what we're going to talk about is really training the lateral leg muscles to be used a little bit more with some drills and exercises to help you utilize them when moving laterally. Also, the adductors are not fast twitch muscles, so you're not going to get really a fast ability to rebound or move laterally if you're pushing off the side of the foot. I'm quite conditioned to use the outside of my leg, so it's not totally accurate representation of how they move. However, it's going to be slower, and it's not going to be as emphatic or quick of a step and a rebound like you'll see in other athletes executing a fast cut maneuver. Now, before you do any of this stuff, it's a good idea to maybe use a stick roller or a foam roller on your adductors to relax them and to get them a little bit looser, so the lateral leg exercises we do is going to be a little bit more effective. You don't have to foam roll for like half an hour, really like a minute, 45 seconds on each side, just getting the different, posterior and, more inside of the leg on the adductors is going to be totally sufficient. So, 30 seconds, 45 seconds on each side is going to loosen them up a bit. Now, the first thing you want to do is get a resistance band like this and just do some lateral walking, right? Moving to the side like that is going to cause you to recruit your lateral hip muscles. And if you have an issue with these things that we've been discussing, do this every day. You can do it twice a day, morning and evening. But you want to take nice big wide steps and really feel those lateral hip muscles engage. So that's the first thing. The next thing is to get a feel for actually using the outside of your foot to push off from. Now, if you have some shoe inserts that offer you arch support, this is going to be handy because it's going to naturally lift your arch and supinate your foot somewhat. So feeling that bite is going to feel a little bit more normal and natural. But to get a feel for this, what you want to do is go up to a flat surface like a wall or something and push your foot into the side of it. So I got this floor thing from my uprights. You just want to push kind of down and to the side and really feel the side of your foot on both sides pushing in. And you can also add some resistance to this. You can get some bands like this, attach it to something sturdy and stationary to pull you towards the direction of your lateral foot. And then put it against a wall or a mat, and you can start putting resistance on the lateral side of your foot to really see what it feels like. This is a little bit loose, let me make it tighter. But you're going to want to push off the side of your foot and really feel it pushing into whatever you have set up. You can turn a bench upside down using the side of the mat right here. Or you can have someone pull you at the same time, which will give you a little bit more freedom on where to do this. You can do it on a curb even, or whatever. As long as you have someone pulling you, you'll be able to push off and feel it. And once you get a really good feel for that, you can start doing it more while moving. And you can push off, even hold it right there, see what it feels like, and really try to keep pressure on the lateral side of the foot there. And once you practice that up, it should be a little bit easier and more normal feeling to push off the side of the foot. All right, so let's summarize. Before you do these things, you want to use the foam roller or stick roller on your adductors to get them to relax a little bit. And you're also going to want to put some arch support into your shoes if you have a shoe insert that offers arch support. What that's going to do is slightly supinate your foot So it's going to feel more natural to get that lateral edge of the foot digging into the ground. Now, once you have that done, you can do the lateral banded walks, side walking with the band to get a feel for your lateral hip muscles. And then you can start doing the more specific side of the foot exercises. So one thing you can do is find a thing you can push your foot into, down and out, and you really get a feel for having friction or traction on the side of your foot. After you get a feel for that, then you can add some resistance to it. You can put some bands on your body, on your waist, and use that lateral foot just in a static position to push down and out. And you'll be using your entire lateral leg muscles there, and you can even like push away from it. Now, after you've done that static exercise, you can do it more dynamically. And you've probably seen fighters do this. They have someone's holding a band on their waist, and you can get a partner to do that. Put a band on your waist and then just go side to side, right? And you can really start, doing this type of movement, which is essentially the movement for a jab, right? You want to be pushing with your foot like 30 degrees, 45 degrees out and forward, because you're moving your hips back to front and also rotating them. So when you get that down, it's going to be really easy to launch into a jab to the body, for example. And then when you step, you're loading those lateral leg muscles, and you can move very quickly back to reset. Okay, so that's about it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Try these things out. If you feel yourself pushing off the inside of your foot, you're going to get a feeling of better mobility, of better quickness to launch, especially a jab, and you're going to get a faster reset to get out of range after you land your jab. All right, that's about it. If you like this kind of stuff, then like and subscribe, and definitely check out my program, the Power Punching Blueprint, which is an A to Z program that rewires and retrains your movement patterns to use more professional style mechanics for increased speed, power on demand, movement, and fluidity. You can check that out at thepunchdoctor.com. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.